And welcome to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon David and our special guest, Karen. How's it going, Karen?
So
This is
good.
super exciting. She's an old high school classmate. I guess you were in the year behind us. You were in my sister's class, right? So
Yes,
you were
Yep.
1 year back, but we did high school together. So
we
and I
did
haven't seen you in
indeed.
Yeah.
forever. So
Karen's
super
like my
excited
sister.
to get the
She's like
time
my
to
sister
talk
back
with
in
you. I
those
know you're
days.
super
So
busy. So appreciate the time, Karen.
Oh, my
Uh,
pleasure.
I guess part of it is, you've been very kind of open about some of your journey, right? And I don't know where or how or what it was, but I think at some point on Facebook I started seeing posts. And you know how sometimes they'll come in and then they go away and you don't even know where's an algorithm or whatever. But I just remember at one point I started seeing these posts and I didn't know what was going on. But it was clear there was a lot going on in your life. And you were, really courageous in sharing all this stuff. And I just felt like I was connecting to you without, you know what I mean? I was just like, wow, 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 wow. Anyway, so just always wanted to sort of get a chance to talk to you and hear a little bit more about the story. And you were,
just
gracious
tell us.
enough to open us
Yeah.
to share it with
Yeah.
us. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about what you've been doing or what's been going on or all of that stuff. You know how this is. We just say, go for it. So I don't know what you want
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are and your background
Yeah.
and all that info.
I'm Smitty's former roommate.
Yes, we were roommates at one
Right?
point.
Yeah, I
Platonic.
think
We were French. She's my
I
sister. So
yeah, I think Dale and I were already dating at the time.
yes, you were.
Yeah, and
Yep.
we
You
also
guys lived together
life-blended.
once?
We
Yep.
did for about 2 years, a year and a half.
2 years. Yeah.
My first year of teaching. And you know what's
Yep.
so funny about that? Dave probably won't remember this, but I was a new teacher, and just really like trying to figure out life, right? I don't know, I was 23, whatever. And back in the day, the commercials for Anthony Robbins at the time, Tony Robbins, for the Personal Power CD cassette
Yes, I
28.
remember those.
Yeah. And I'm
I
like,
think I did that one.
I'm gonna order those. So I ordered them. You and I were living together, and I got them in the mail. So excited. Didn't open them, I think, for 2 or 3 months. Finally opened them and listened to them religiously. Did all the exercises. I would really say, and I haven't thought of this in years. That was the start of my commitment to personal growth and
Oh
peace
wow.
and really
Wow.
longevity. Yeah. And so Smitty, you were my roommate at the time,
Yeah.
and
Wow, here we are.
here we are all these years later. Just
I
a couple
know.
years later.
I drive by those
Yeah.
apartments all the time. I'm like, yeah, I
I
remember
do.
Karen. I lived there.
Madison and her husband Christian live on Legacy Golf Course. So when I'm headed out that
Oh,
way,
they're right there. Yeah. Okay.
and Lee Ciadella Shirey and I lived there before you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
fun.
funny.
Before we went live, Smitty, you were talking about just some serendipitous things that have happened to you this week, and you mentioned the passing of former Mayor Harry Mitchell. Mark's a dear friend and has done some work with me professionally. I'm back in my childhood home that I grew up in on Hermosa Drive,
Oh
and
wow.
remember the Arredondos were on the corners, right? And
Yep.
so still across the street are Alex and Mary Arredondo, still
Yep.
to this
Oh my
day.
gosh. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yep,
love Alex and Mary. I just saw
yeah.
them at the funeral, at Ben's funeral. So
I would
yeah.
imagine. And so is Alice, and who is Alice married to? That's um,
Um, Alice is married to Hank. Was married to Hank.
Hank,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, there was
So they
the
were,
yes, it was the split of boys. There was the young
yeah,
boys and the older boys, and Ida was part of the older boys. Yeah, there were two separate groups, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah, good old
Anyway,
Alex and Hank. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
my two
Mary,
uncles.
and you spoke about the letters of recommendation for you for teaching. So my career started off in education as well, and I had my first long-term substitute position in the Tempe High District back in, I don't know, 90, oh God, I don't know, even earlier than that. Anyway, 89 or something like that. And Arredondo's, both Mary and Alex were in the district at the time, and they kind of hooked me up. And I'm sure I have a
Yep,
letter of recommendation from Mary or,
I love it.
or yeah, so fun. So every time she pulls out in her van, she waves and says hello, and
I
yeah,
love
good.
her.
It's good
Love
to
her
be
to death.
here. So to
Yeah,
answer your question, who am I? So I'm your classmate. I was your former roommate. We were
roommate.
lifeguards together for
Oh my
years on
gosh.
end. And I went into education right out of my time at NAU. And it was when I had a role as an assistant principal in Kyrene at the Murata and Intel school partnership that I started working at Intel in the summers. And I realized that I had a skill set that was stronger or broader than education, which I'm always kind of embarrassed to say that because I think the most noble and important profession are educators. But by then I had kids, my oldest two who are now 32 and 30 this month. But I just wanted to kind of get out of the classroom walls. I really literally only thought career-wise that I could only be a teacher because I was a great babysitter. Like that's how I learned. Great swim coach, great swim instructor, great babysitter. I'll be a teacher. That was it. So when I had this assistant principal role and I was contributing in these Intel conversations and multimedia and their community liaison roles and really even just the tech piece of it, I was like, I think I'll switch my master's, which at the time was ed leadership, to organizational development. And I fell in love with business. And then I ended up leaving a couple years after that to go into business for myself as a coach. I hate the word life coach, but really that best describes it. And then also leadership coach. I've been blessed to have coached mayors of cities and doctors and attorneys, people who really impact more people. And that's my favorite thing, is to be able to work with a leader, help them get really clear about who they are and how they stand in the world so that they just radiate that to their constituents or patients or clients and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've had that opportunity to really work with and help a lot of people. I'll use the word heal. And then I've done a lot of other things along the way as well. Like if anybody ever looks at my resume, it's it's got a lot of things on there. Yeah. And then let's see. So education for years, went into business for myself, and then sold one business back in the early 2000s with a couple partners. It was a social media business, which kind of when social media was really kind of coming into its own prior to AI. And then opened a podcast production studio called Phoenix Business Radio X, and did that for 7 years, and then sold that a year and a half ago to Backlot Studios, a gentleman named Tyler Copenhagen, which I really want to get you guys in touch with. When you talk about reach and what you're doing here, I'd love to talk about that offline. And that's it. I mentioned my two oldest kids. I also have a 19-year-old who lives with Tom and I, along with Tom's youngest daughter. And like I said, we're back in our childhood home. And I think that's kind of the meat and bones, maybe professionally.
I love that home, by the way. That was awesome.
I know,
That whole neighborhood. That whole neighborhood was fun. So I didn't live there, by the way. I just went and visited everybody over there.
Yes, well, you also played Santa for us on our fireplace hearth many times. My dad pulls out that photo every once in a while with Grady and Madison, and I think even Ivan, my 19-year-old. I feel like you did it with Ivan as well. Yeah. And V Duncan or V Castro Duncan was just over for for Tom's 60th, and this. I'm sitting in the living room right now. I don't know if you remember, David. It had no furniture. At one point, my mom moved back to California. And if Larry Graham is listening, which he will at some point, I almost guaranteed. But he was watching the house. And
Larry Graham. Wow.
Right? We just saw him at whose funeral? Were you?
Hey, Larry.
Oh, it was
What's up, brother?
That was
so good.
Paul.
Wow.
No, it's going to come to me.
Yeah.
I feel ashamed that I can't remember because it was not too long ago. Anyway, I just got to see Larry. Anyway, great guy. But anyway, we're in New York. I'm a senior in high school. We're in New York for the first time. My dad's on a trip with me and my 3 siblings. And Larry calls the house phone, right, because that's all we had, and says to my aunt, I need to talk to Chuck. And she's like, well, let me put Karen on first. And he's like, I really need to talk to your dad. So he gets on the phone and he comes to find out, he's like, I've been keeping an eye on the house, but I showed up this morning and all of your living room furniture is gone and all of your master bedroom furniture is gone. It was my mom. So she she got movers and came in and did the big FU to my dad while we were gone. And Larry felt so guilty. And my dad was great. He's like, look, you couldn't have known, and this is on you. But yeah, so for years, my point is, for years, this living room, which is a massive living room, was that empty. Yeah, so it used to be, it was cheerleading practice in here, dance and skits and sleepovers with, 12 sleeping bags. And so when V was over, she's like, I remember that living room. This was my corner. No, so yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
A lot of memories in there.
Yeah.
It's so cool to be back in this house. It really is. It's amazing. Yeah. And little by little, we're updating it. It takes a lot of money and a lot of time. And Tom's in the trades. He's a plumber. And Dale, my first husband, is still a very dear friend of mine and a dear friend of Tom's. And he, often helps us with some of the things that we do, since he flips a bunch of houses.
That's
Sheldon,
awesome.
you knew Dale, didn't you? Or know Dale Douglas?
Dale Douglas?
Oh, Dale Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew Dale.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Dale as well.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Dale. I did not.
Shout out to a lot of people. By the time we're done with this, it'll be great.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we can keep them coming. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of which, wait, one more. This is Barbara Moore. Barbara Moore swam with me all 4 years. That's her beautiful artwork. I've got a couple of pieces throughout her house.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So she's an incredible artist.
Wow.
Incredible in every medium. Yeah, she's
Wow.
just amazing. So
That
anyway.
is cool.
Yeah. And by the way, I never went to a swim meet at McClintock High School.
I
'Cause I really
know.
didn't know we had a swim team. I just played football.
Right.
And then I became a swim coach.
So funny.
Oh, we had a swim team. Oh yeah, Karen was on that. She was. I know a lot of people that are on that swim team.
Yeah, a lot of us were. Julie, of course. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. My
Janelle
senior
even,
year, I
yeah.
did a freshman swimmer. Ooh, that was bad. Oh, it was freshman. Heidi Walker. Heidi Walker.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that name.
Gosh.
Yep.
So funny. So anyway,
Okay, on with that.
before people feel like they have to be a McClintock grad to listen to this, we'll move on.
Yeah. So, is there any, we talk about, finding that peace and happiness. It's a journey. It's not something that just all of a sudden happens. And we've talked about my divorce, and, it's taken a while, but, there's no anger. It's just have to go through stuff. Is there anything that you've talked to people about, or that you have that helps people get through things and stuff? I'm not saying exact technical terms, but you know what I mean.
The stuff and the things. How do you get through the stuff and the things? Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. I agree. It's a journey. As happy and as peaceful as I am now at 61 and in this really neat new marriage with Tom, I still have to work at staying peaceful and quieting the chatter on a regular basis. And there's times that I fall flat and I'm not very good at it. But it's like it's an exercise. It's a practice. You have at least my experience is to keep it up.
Sure. So that's kind of like, what I love to talk about. What is that in particular? Is there, and how did you come to find that path or process, right? Because that's one of the things about art. We always say, hey, we found something. I found something that worked for me and Dave, and and there's a particular kind of way, if you will, but that's not the only way. Everybody has their own path or how they've come to. Even it's the same. I meditate or whatever. Well, we all do it differently, right? And we all go to a million different schools. So how did that come to you? Or you said that Tony Robbins back in the
way back. That was the beginning of it. Yeah. And
so you've always been that person who's always looking for, hey, how can I do better or heal or I don't know, find greater happiness or greater productivity or whatever that is. So Tony Robbins was the beginning.
Was the beginning for me. And really, I think some great teachers, both at NAU and even McClintock, just really boosting me up. But I will say that it was early in my marriage with Dale, after we had Grady and Madison, that I had postpartum depression with both of them. And it's funny because, again, with this idea of always wanting to learn and be a better version of myself, I read so many, parenting and baby books, but I would get to that chapter that would talk about postpartum depression, and refused to read it because, that's not going to happen to me.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
really would like skip that chapter, thinking that, like an addict or an alcoholic, that somehow you have a choice not to be that.
Yeah.
Well, just like that, postpartum depression chooses you. You don't choose it.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Changing Hand bookstore after Madison was born, so in '96, and just needing, like, I needed a reset. Something I felt like I had lived my whole life as a really good Catholic girl and a good person, good teacher, good friend, good daughter, good sibling. And for some reason, that wasn't enough, was kind of my, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
So I'm standing in Changing Hand bookstore looking for a book, and I think it was the spiritual section. And this book was like catching my eye out of my peripheral. It was almost like a neon sign blinking. And you know how sometimes they put face books outwards so you can see the cover? Well, it wasn't. It was just the binding. And I pulled it out.
Oh.
It was a book by Debbie Ford. It was called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And I just opened up, a random page, read it, and started bawling in the aisle of this bookstore. And bought it, brought it home, read it front to back. I think twice. There was exercises, much like Tony Robbins' series back in the day. Did all of the exercises religiously, looked her up. Long story short, was, I think, on a plane maybe a month or two afterwards to go to a 3-day shadow process event, one of her signature weekends for healing. And then I ended up studying under her. I became a mentor coach and a certified coach for her coaching program, which was through John F. Kennedy University at the time, all over the world. So I've mentor coached many coaches in the program after that. And
Wow. So it's a type of shadow work?
It's shadow work. I don't know if you know the term shadow process or shadow work.
Sure, I've heard of it. How do they
Sure,
live it?
sure, that's not very convincing.
No, I mean, I was just like, there's a lot of people that use that term. So how do they,
So how I would define it, and it's very vague, not vague, very surface level, I guess.
Yeah.
We all have shadows. We have a dark and a light side of us, right? Mm-hmm. And oftentimes we suppress or deny the negative parts of ourselves because we don't want to be that, right? So like Debbie tells the story, she didn't want to be a bitch. Like when people called her a bitch, she would come undone, and she didn't want to be that. So she overcompensated for being super nice and overdoing things for people. But what happens when we shut down either the lightest light in us or the darkest dark is that we shut down the other part of that too, and then we're living in a really narrow version of who we are. So if you can accept the bitch in you, the angry guy, the addict, the narcissist, the whatever it is, if you can accept those parts of you, you won't become that, right? That's what the shadow needs to get in the light. I wrote a children's book years ago called Maddie Moonbeam's Garden, and it's a metaphor about shadow work. And basically, the original idea was about a castle, so I'll tell the story that way. We're all born into this magnificent castle, and room after room, just ornate, and each room different in color and vibrancy. And as you invite people into your castle, people start to say things like, "Oh, I don't like that lamp," or "This room is too cold. You should, put more heat in here," or "That's a bold red color. You probably should change it." And you're walking through this castle, right? Your personality, your persona, and you're shutting the shades and locking doors when you hear people's opinions about you. And then pretty soon you're forgetting that you're living in this magnificent castle. It's like you're now in a little studio apartment because you shut down every single part of you to try to be accepted, to meet everybody else's expectations. And so shadow work is really coming to understand what rooms in my castle have I shut down and refuse to admit are part of me. And when we can make peace with those parts of us, then we're free to be an even more incredible version of who we are, and we less project things on top of people. This is the other very important piece of this. If I refuse to admit that I have, a bitchy personality, if I refuse to admit that, what I'm going to find in my life is a lot of people who are going to reflect that part of me back, and I'm going to think it's all about them. like, well, she's a bitch or he's an asshole. And the reality is they're just projecting, it's a mirror. They're just projecting back what I'm not willing to see in myself. So the moment I can free that up and go, all right, well, this person frustrated the crap out of me, or this person annoys me. What part of them do I like? What name? Yeah, what name would I give them, or what personality really annoys me? And find that trigger, and then go to work and see where in my life have I been that, or where in my life am I that, and have to look at it, own it. Now the umbilical cord between me and that person and me and that personality is no longer there, and I can free them from that projection. So that's really, really basic. And I'm only talking right now mainly about the dark side. It works on the light side too. When we admire somebody so greatly and we give them our light, we only can see that greatness in people because we have that capability within ourselves as well. So it's really important to be reflective. When I'm triggered by somebody, just say to yourself, I am that, and look to see like, oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. So very brief. That's it.
That's awesome. That's super deep. That's awesome. That's super deep, super, very spiritual stuff. And Nisargadatta had a whole entire book called I Am That, right? The Hindu guy, right?
Yep.
And there's all kinds of stuff in there. So you started doing that process from the postpartum depression.
Yeah. From a personal perspective, and very
90s.
quickly, in the 90s, and very quickly as a teacher, I'm like, oh my God, if this works for me, it's got to work for other people. So I got certified as a shadow integration coach. And like I said,
what I like is what you were talking about, because as Sheldon and I always say, we have one theme that happens to show up all the time. And we talk about going within yourself. You got to look within yourself, no matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. And it's like sometimes it hurts to go inside. But that's what you're saying. You got to, when you see that thing that is irritating you, why is that person irritating me? Well, inside me, I have that. You have to go in there. It'll hurt, but you got to go in and find it to let it go.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's so cool.
I think to your, the whole point of your podcast around finding that journey toward inner peace and happiness, or really well-being, it is always an inside job, right? So and my belief is there's no shortcut. You have to go through life's shitty moments. And some people will drink or shop or sex over it or whatever. You can have all these things, but at the end of the day, you've got to look inside, and you have to own those parts of yourself. I think that's really, for me, my understanding of this time on earth is really that's it. Like, how do I continue to become a better version of me, to where not only am I peaceful, but I also radiate peace, and I find ways to forgive people. And again, sometimes I'm really not good at it, and other times
as we all are, right?
So
forgiveness, or coming to that place, taking responsibility for what it is, right? When you go inside, is there a specific kind of, I don't know, technique or thought process or idea that you would say this is what I do when I'm working or looking at that stuff and it's coming up? Because I feel like everybody has different ways that they go about that. Was there something particular for you that you do? Like, do you have a process that you deal with? Like, okay, this thing's coming up in me and I see it. Now what do I do with that?
For me, it's like a big toolbox of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Right? You've been doing this for a long time. You got a lot of tools in there.
Well, that and I also get, not bored, maybe it is bored, but I get bored easily, and I have to have a lot of different things. So for me, sometimes it's a silent meditation, sometimes it's time with friends, sometimes it's journaling. But I really, and when I coach people to work through their own personal shadows, I'll say to them, and Sheldon, you said it early on, there's not one way to do things, right? There's meditation, but there's several different types of meditation. Keep trying things, finding things that work for you, and put them in your tool bag or your toolbox, because you'll never know when you're going to need them. And then you have to remember you have a toolbox, right? So often we're angry, or we're sick, or we're depressed or sad or whatever it is. it's the hardest thing is to go, oh, here's my tool bag, and open it and be willing to just get off go and pull that one thing out. So, I mean, for
And
me,
that's really hard
generally,
when you're in the moment of whatever
oh,
it is,
because
right? And that's
because
true for all of us, right?
of course it is, right? It's sometimes for people, it's I shouldn't have to experience this again. Poor me, or I can't control this. This happened to me because someone screwed me over. Like whatever that thing is for us. But getting quiet and really for me, spending a lot of time alone is what keeps me the healthiest. Even in my marriage, I love being with Tom. We're best friends. We love doing everything together. And also after being single for, it wasn't very long, right? But just about 5 years, but in the middle of the pandemic and going through the trauma I did with Ivan's dad, I grew to be very independent and spend a lot of time by myself. And I still crave it and have to have it. Otherwise
So you part of that experience, you started to recognize that you do need that time, because when you never experienced it, then you didn't realize you needed it, and then when you tapped into it and you go, wow, there's a beauty in all of that, right? And in a recharging and all that other kind of stuff. It's like you become more connected to your own feelings when you don't have anything else around you, right? You start to notice that. Is that what happened?
That's exactly it, right? Because we have to feel the feelings. If we cannot allow ourselves to feel the feelings, they're not going to pass through us. They're going to get stuck in our physical body. They're going to start directing the way that we show up. And that's perfectly said. Yeah.
It's a poison. It becomes a poison inside, which spews out in the negative way. If we suppress it and leave it in there. So letting it out, it hurts. It comes through tears, it comes through pain, it comes through anger, but you got to let it go. So,
Yeah. When I was really angry, this was, I think, still, the kids were fairly young, working through that postpartum depression. One of the techniques that I went on to teach others to do, and this is my idea, I can't remember where it came from, probably from Debbie Ford's work, but was to take a sheet and lay it out in the garage or somewhere private. Go buy a bunch of plates and glasses at a
dollar store,
Goodwill, Goodwill or whatever, and then go in there and just start throwing plates and glasses and
really
and working. Oh yeah, I used to teach my kids not that technique, but I used to tell them, like, if you're angry, you got to go to your room. Now it's like, stop yelling at me, but go to your room and get a pillow. And take a bat to your pillow or scream into your pillow. You've got to let whatever emotion, especially the strongest ones, out. The plate and glass technique, and then you just wrap up the sheet and you take it out to the dumpster, and you're like,
there.
I feel better, and no one got hurt.
Yeah. Also, driving in a car, like if I'll still do it if I find myself frustrated on the way to work or from work, which fortunately my job now is not very stressful. But if something's run through my mind about a conversation with the kids or something, I'll just find myself yelling while I'm driving, like, It's freeing. It's very freeing.
Don't they have a whole therapy on that, screaming or whatever? And they'll do workshops where people just scream out, scream for the whole.
Probably.
That's like the thing. That's literally the thing.
Yeah.
As they go and they scream freely, and it releases stuff, right? And you feel better. You're like, oh, whew.
Yeah.
Because then whoever you had that anger towards, you can now go to them with a calmer mindset, heart, and just have that conversation. You may still be upset, but not that anger.
Yes.
Because you got it out. You let it. And if you suppress that, again, it's going inside and it's festering. If you say, I got to get it out, let it out. It's okay.
Yep.
Just try not to hurt others while you're letting it out. That's
That's key too.
Yeah, my dad always said.
We should invite Tom to sit down next to us, because he'll tell you. She needs to go do that more.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's interesting to be married. We got married at 6. I was 60. Tom's 59. Just turned 60. We've been married for a little over a year now, and to have gone through. He's had his own journey, his own story. I have mine. To have come through a traumatic ending to my marriage with Ivan's dad, and now to be deeply in love with somebody when I never really thought that I would love anybody else. Shit triggers me. And with all the skill set and all the tools in my bag, that moment I go into a traumatic reaction sometimes, and we've really had to put the skids on, and he hasn't done this kind of work, right? he, in fact, he'd be like, you've done a lot of work. I mean, I've been through years of counseling. I mean, like, I think I saw a counselor for 2 years, every week for 2 years, even before I was married to Ivan's dad, Mike. In fact, I'll tell that story too. When Mike landed in the hospital, for our listeners who don't know, right? Of course, I wouldn't expect them to know. My 19-year-old's dad and I were married for 15 years. And in 2017, October 2017, I woke up to a text on a text thread with our club baseball parents who became close friends. And it was Mike's goodbye text. And it said, hey, take care of Ivan and Karen. I love you all. You've been great friends. And I didn't see the text that morning. It was a Monday morning. And I got a call from one of the moms, and she's like, did you see the text? I'm like, no, I'm just getting up. And she's like, I think you need to get to the shop. Mike owned an auto mechanic shop. And I'm like, what? And I looked at the text. I'm like, oh my God. And completely out of the blue, we all knew that he was not feeling well physically, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. What I didn't know, that he was deep into addiction again, which I thought he was clean. Deep into addiction and gambling, and so I ran across the street and I told our dear friend Alicia, we got to get to Mike's shop. She immediately knew something was up. It was only a half mile away from our home, and Mike had shot himself in the lobby of his auto shop. And
Wow.
yeah,
Can't even.
no, here's the strange. I mean, a lot of it's strange, but my point in sharing that is that when I think it was 2 or 3 days later, I woke up early morning to a voice, and I'll say it's God or universe. I don't know what it is, but oftentimes I'll call them downloads, and the
That's
voice
what my wife
said,
calls them, downloads.
yeah, and the voice, and listen, the more we do our work and the more we meditate and sit in silence, the more we leave ourselves open for that spiritual guidance. But I wasn't happy with the spiritual guidance this particular morning. The first thing I heard was, you're going to tell this story as it's happening. And I've been candid all along I've got, I had a little Facebook presence back in the day, and even through my postpartum depression journey, I had, verbally talked about that. Again, throughout my coaching experience, I've had a lot of public speaking, guest speaking experiences, and parent coaching, that kind of thing. So I've been very candid about my own mental health journey. But here is God or the universe, 2 or 3 days after Mike's in the hospital, trauma intensive care unit, he had shot himself.
He did not actually die, that's right. He shot himself.
Nope, survived, shot himself through his, underneath his chin, and went up through his tongue and out the top of his head. So now he's in trauma intensive care unit. It ended up being a full month there, and long sordid story after that. He has since passed away. He passed away about 3, I'm awful on my timing, but awful, 3 or 4 years after that, in Wisconsin. We eventually divorced, and he moved back to Wisconsin, where he had originated from. But that particular morning, 3 or 4 days, I'm exhausted. I'm trying to make sure my then 12-year-old is staying afloat. And God's voice is basically, you're going to tell this story while it's happening. And I thought, that's crazy. Like, it's not my story, it's Mike's, and that's not for me to do it. And then I remember, just sitting there with it. And then the next thing I heard within a couple of seconds or minutes was, I've prepared you your whole life for this. And I thought, fuck you.
Wow.
Like,
Shit.
and I'm a really good listener when it comes, when I have clarity and I hear, God or the universe speaking to me, and I'm clear. I've made amends where I never thought I was able to with people in my life. I've redirected my career. I've just been able to do a lot of really neat things, small things, but neat things when I listen well. And I thought, what the heck? You must think either very highly of me that you've prepared me my whole life for this, or you must really hate me that I am married to who I thought at the time was, the love of my life, and a second husband. And you've prepared me for this moment. Like, that doesn't even I can't even wrap my brain around that.
Yeah.
But as I started to pay attention more, I thought, just like you guys with this podcast, our journeys, we're here to be a beacon of hope for other people. And so I called Julie Bad Hudson, who's my very best friend from high school, and beyond. And then another friend of mine, who I actually lost in this whole situation, but I said, hey, I'm being called to write about this, and I think I'm going to do it on Facebook. And
I think that's when I started hearing about,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you know, like I said, somewhere it just popped up. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I know her, you know, and I click on the thing and, you know,
In the middle of it, in the middle of crazy. And
right.
I said to Julie and this friend of mine, I need you to read every, I'll call them a blog. I'll need you to read every blog before I post it, because I have to do three things. One, I have to make sure that I'm taking care of myself in this. Two, that I'm not shoving Micah under a bus or making him the bad guy, or you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just need to make sure it still is respectful of Mike and his
Yes. Not
family.
attacking him on, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then the third thing is, if there is a glimmer of hope that's here for somebody, I want to make sure that that's there too. But I didn't want it to become, and social media can do this, I didn't want it to become this platform for the sake of a platform.
That's beautiful, man. That's real wisdom there.
And I've been accused of that, though, and I knew that was likely going to happen. So
Yeah.
Julie and this gal, both, every time I wrote something, and literally many times I'd be working or doing whatever, I'm visiting the hospital, I'd come home and be like, oh my gosh, I got it right, and I wouldn't even know what, and I could just sit down and, like, again, just this download. And then sometimes it was a little bit more like methodical and everything, but to your point, Sheldon, I gained a lot of curious followers. Chandler Mall, about 2 months ago, Tom and I were in Chandler Mall, and this woman came up to me in Shields, and she's like, Karen, Karen Nowicki. And I'm like, hi. She goes, I've been following you and your story for a long time, and I just want to say thank you. And I'm like, you know, and sometimes it's odd for me. I mean, it doesn't happen as often anymore because I'm not doing it, you know, quite as much. But for a long time, very recognizable for the vulnerability and the authentic play-by-play. In fact, a classmate of ours, and I will not mention the name, but a classmate of ours had since moved away, and I didn't know her well, but she was following the story. And when she came into town, she said, I have to see you. Can you make time for coffee? And I said, yeah, of course. And I mean, we had touched base a couple of times here and there, and I've always adored her. But when she's walking up to me and I'm already at the coffee shop, I can watch her whole face just turn, and she's in tears as she's approaching me. And she shares that every day she would wake up and she'd look for the next entry, the next blog post, because at the time her husband was struggling with mental health. And she, you know, you're a casualty to that. You're a casualty to suicide. You're a casualty to addiction if you're in relationship with somebody. I won't say victim, because I don't, you know, I've had victim moments, but you're more of a casualty. And she said, Karen, every time you would write something, I would read it first, and then I would go read it to my husband. And he went and got help because he didn't want, he could see me, like the future me, through you, and he didn't want that to happen. And so I've got several emails and texts and phone calls and many people that have let me know how important my story is. So again, I applaud you guys for doing this podcast, because you never know who you're going to help and how you're going to help them.
I applaud you for having the courage to listen to that voice. That is intense. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's awful.
We always talk about it on the podcast. You don't know who you're going to influence or who you're going to touch, or the magnitude of that one little thing, or somebody read that thing and it, you know, saved their life or changed their life or whatever that is. We just don't know, right? So we have to sometimes have a little bit of faith and trust that, hey, you know, especially when it's something that vulnerable, the magnitude of the vulnerability of what you did, especially you'd had already some negative experiences in the past about how people might have judged you for what you were sharing, right? And then you get the voice saying, do this, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That's what I don't know. Fuck
I did.
you, man.
I probably did say that. I probably literally looked up, you know, at my ceiling and said, you know, what? It didn't make sense. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes you just
But then
don't
you
know.
got the feedback. you got the feedback, right? Where he's, I mean, obviously later or whatever, but still, I mean, it's
Well, no, right? I mean, right away. And then
no, that's nice.
my sister started a GoFundMe campaign because what I came to find out is that we were 2 months behind in our house. Um, all the savings was gone.
So he was
My
a
kid borrowed,
gambling addict.
yeah,
Yeah.
alcohol, oxycodone,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
All of
yeah,
it.
all over the place. And yeah, I remember, yeah, I am that many more years away, and still I think I will continue to heal throughout my whole lifetime. And
Yeah.
again, this wonderful relationship with Tom brings it all back up in different ways, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful for his patience with me.
Can,
Yeah,
that is super powerful.
And
You
that's
had
just the
said,
stuff it's always with you. And that's
yeah,
why, like in this, like I've met Tom, he's a wonderful guy. And I'm so excited for both of you. But it is hard, even though you love this person, it's still, there's little things that will always be there. And I know in my relationships that I've had since the divorce, it's like, oh, you're like that. No, stop. I can't put that on that person. And I have to let things go and become different. And I've done it, Sheldon. We've walked through it, but that's where you are. You just have to go, where am I at now? Who am I with? And like kind of still feel those bleh,
yeah, and
back.
protect my peace. And I
Yes.
mean, we're very different personalities, and he doesn't ever say something to try to trigger me, right? Even in our
No.
moments of trying to work through things, but I have to be highly protective of my peace. And even recently, Ivan and I, my 19-year-old, got into it a couple weeks ago, and then on top of that, Tom and I got into it, and I'm like, I'm out. I went over to my daughter's house, and I said I have to step away, and
so
I have to remember to do that sooner too, because I've recently kind of lost that piece of me that says this is not how you want to show up, and so it's okay for you to say,
time out. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, time
And,
out.
a big side note, real quick. You hear the three of us talking, and you've heard other people that have talked and ways of how getting through this. We're still going through it. So it's not like we all of a sudden, oh, I'm perfect. Hey, everything's gonna be so fine. No, you get to a point to where you know the tools, but now you're like, okay, I'm in the middle of this. What tool do I need? But we're still stuck in that tool sometimes. So like you're just
Yep.
saying, you got to say, okay, now I got to step back sooner. And as you said, Tom would come and say, she needs to listen to herself, because we
Yes.
do. And Sheldon, I've talked about it. It's like, why didn't I listen to myself when I was in this middle of this situation? Because
Yes.
we get stuck too. So understand, as we talk and you learn from Karen, you learn from others, you're gonna get stuck at a time, but you just gotta have that tool to say, I know there's a tool, let me go find it. So
And
Yeah.
so you had said that's why they call it a trigger, right? It's like a hair trigger. I always call it like a hair trigger. It's like bam, one little thing, and boom, you're in whatever that pattern
Yeah.
yeah,
is. You're in that rage. You're in that whatever. Your brain's gone. All your tools are out the box, and you're like, you're in that moment of
Yeah.
of whatever. How do so you just now are describing, you're recognizing that I need to just remove myself and give myself some space to regain your peace. Is that
Yeah.
like probably your major kind of tool for how you process those things when like triggers are hit? Because I think that's one of those things that's, we have all these, people have all these practices, and I can practice it, I can meditate, or I can do this, or I go out in nature and I feel great, right? And that's all beautiful, and that's absolutely a training ground, right? It's it's something you need to do.
Yeah.
But then in the moment, that's the battle, right? When everything's
You're
in
preparing for that moment. That's what
yeah,
you're
you're
doing.
preparing,
That's
but
what you're
then sometimes you
practicing.
lose all that and everything goes out the window,
Yes,
right? And that's just the way it
many,
is.
many times. Yeah.
We all have done it, right? Do you have a particular thing or something? I know you said you have a lot of tools, right? But that helps you to go, oh, wait, oh, shit, I'm in it. You know what I mean? Because first of all, when you're really, really in it, you don't even know. You're gone.
Correct.
Right? You are
Yeah.
fully in it. If you're fully 100%, there's not even that awareness to it. You're freaking out right now, dude. You're just freaking out. And then
And
there's
it's
a
taken,
point
yeah,
where you go, I'm freaking out. And then,
yeah. I would like to figure that out sooner.
yeah, right.
Yeah. And again, as much fun as Tom and I have, and as much as we love each other, I a handful of times have said like, yeah, that like I can't keep doing this like volatile. We're angry with each other, and thinking that maybe we shouldn't have gotten married. Like I've even been at that point in the short 2 years we've been married, and he's the one. He's like, we can work through this, right? We can make this work because me, I want to flee, right?
Yeah,
The fight,
yeah.
fight,
He's
flight,
talking you off the
flee.
ledge a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, but don't do it while I'm in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've done that
because
one.
that's not gonna, yeah, yeah. What it comes down to for me that my awareness now is that these tools in my tool bag and practicing on the daily is important because when I forget to do that, and for me, that's eating healthy, it's getting enough rest, it's meditating, it's exercising, like those things. They're very fundamental things. But look around our world, even just look around our where the area where we live, and you see more people than not are living outside of their physical bodies. They're grossly overweight. They're eating just all the food that really doesn't carry any nutritional value to it. They're drinking. I'm not making anybody wrong, but it's just really
Yep.
where we at as a society. And so if I'm not tending to my gut health,
Yep.
then I'm triggered more easily. It's harder for me to recognize that, oh, this doesn't fit well, because now I can't read my body. Like
Yeah.
there's a physical reaction that I have if I see something or I hear something. If I'm in a good place in my physical body, I can check in and go, well, that doesn't feel good for me, or that's not right for me, and I can step away with an explanation or craziness or whatever. But if I'm not eating well, getting enough rest, then I'm gonna just lean into the trigger, and my fingers are gonna grow, and I'm gonna lash out. So that's why I think it's called a practice, because you're practicing for those moments where you are going to be challenged to maintain your peace and your balance. And it's really a test to see, well, how serious are you about maintaining your peace?
Yeah. Do you guys have like an agreement or anything between you two as a couple that says, hey, time out or a way to recognize that in each other and sort of?
And it's usually me saying, I had to clarify, like me grabbing my keys and saying, I'm out.
Yep.
That used to really then trigger him.
Yep.
But now it's like, look, I have to I like physically have to get away, and have some time to calm down. And so that's been my opportunity,
Yeah.
is to just
And
stop
he
and
now
just
understands that that's just the thing, and he hopefully
Yeah.
it's less triggering for him because
Yeah.
he recognizes this is your process.
Yeah.
She needs this time, and allows that to happen a little bit more. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of your pattern.
And-
Because
and-
I used to joke with my wife Jacqueline, that the way when I would trigger her, the way that she got triggered and her reaction would trigger me. Like, so I couldn't be grounded in peace and hold space for her because, she's going through her thing. And vice versa. If I got triggered, she triggered me. The way that I reacted in my triggering triggered her.
Yep.
So we were always mutually triggered. Like we have couples where like, oh, he's just my rock and I can go off and he nothing bothers him. Well, that's nice. Well, that's not
Wouldn't
us.
that be
Okay?
lovely? Right. I'd like to meet those people.
like,
How do
whatever.
you do that?
Yeah, that was
But
never.
I
That was
will-
not us. Like it was, and I was like, it's called MAD, mutual assured destruction. We're either going to blow up into this nuclear war that's going to be this massive explosion that's going to be, oh my god,
love that.
or it's going to be the most amazing, beautiful thing that I've ever seen, that's ever been seen,
Yeah.
because we've figured
Yeah.
out a way to get through
Yeah.
all of that and heal a bunch of it. And it's beautiful. It's not that it still doesn't ever happen. It's still,
Yeah.
those things happen, right? It's just like you said, a journey and a process. But the love has been more profound and more mind blowing and more beyond what you ever thought, and all that because you have to go through those things, right?
And
Yep.
Ken, what you were talking about, getting the keys and going away for a while, getting the keys and going away. He knows that you're going to take that and whatever. That's actually working through the process and building that tool. Because
Yep.
you said it, you have to experience and go through it and practice. That's, I know, even though that grabbing the keys and going away, hey, next time you grab the keys, you go for an hour, next time 45 minutes, next time's 30. It's like, hey, I'm starting to
Yeah.
understand. I'm getting better at this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
leaving, but I'm getting better. So the next time I want to grab the keys. Maybe give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Yep.
Okay, then boom, let's talk. So
Exactly.
that's still, even though you're you think you're not getting there, you're getting there.
But-
That
Yep.
sounds weird,
No,
so don't think you're not getting there, people out there. Because it's like it's a struggle. We've been there and we've talked about it over and over. Here's Karen doing the exact same thing. So it's okay, to work through it.
You're what you said. You have to protect your peace. I love that.
No one else is going to do it for
Yeah.
me.
I love
Literally,
that.
I mean, even my best friend, my daughter,
Yeah.
like, as
Yep.
much as they love me and they're not me. And so it's my job to protect my peace. And
Yeah.
the other thing that I have taught people over the years is like pick a word or pick a experience that's most important to you. For me, it's peace, and oftentimes it is peace for people. Sometimes it's for folks it's well-being or happiness or I'm at a loss for other phrases, but it's peace for me.
Yeah.
And so at all costs, my job is to make sure that I can come quickly back to peace
Right.
as often as I need to, right? I know my life isn't intended to always be peaceful or always be happy. Life just isn't designed that way.
Yep.
And so how quickly can I come back to it? And that again goes back to the toolbox and like, okay, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I'm stressed out, whatever that thing is, and whatever's happening, work or, a neighborhood issue or a kid issue or a spousal issue, whatever, I can go, okay, am I feeling peace? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. And how far away? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how far off of peace am I? Well, I'm 10. Okay, what is it going to require to get back? And sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's a couple minutes, but it's my job and my job only to keep coming back to where I can feel that balance and peace. And I think maybe
Love that.
we probably shouldn't overlook a conversation about like what is peace. Like it's a very individual thing, but for me, it's contentment. It's like if I were to die today, would I feel that I'm content and that I've lived a good life up until this point? Like, have I made amends with everybody I need to make amends with? Have I let the people that I know in my life, how deeply I love them and how much gratitude I have for how they've contributed to my life? And when I can get quiet and I can go, I'm good, like I'm good, and this is peace. Then I can get up and do the next day of whatever I'm called to do and just keep coming back to that over and over again.
Yeah, love that.
That's beautiful.
What is peace for either of you?
Huh?
How do you know when you're at peace? What is your barometer or your lighthouse for peace?
It's very similar, I think. To me, it's this foundational thing, and that's why we say pursuit of lasting peace and happiness was our little tagline in this whole podcast, right? Was that contentment, the word that, I had never actually used that word, but that's the right word for it. It's a really good word for it, right? It's like a foundational sort of sense of peace, right? That's not as it's not as situationally, for me, it's not situationally dependent. It's not dependent. When you practice and you get to a place, you can have that no matter what's going on. And that's the practice. That's the thing, that you have to practice. And I would say you got to practice it when everything's okay, so that you learn how to get there when everything's not okay. Right? It's like a training.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing about, what is it that you're doing? And for me also, it's a vibrational thing. Like I can feel the energy, so I can feel a vibrational shift. And so I can be for me, it's like in the heart. When I get out of my head and I get into the heart space, there's a vibrational shift that happens physically. Like I can feel it. It's like, wah! And I used to do this, I was in the Course in Miracles, and I'd describe it in the group, and they'd all laugh at me because I'd go, woo! It's like this hum. And there's like a vibrational hum that happens.
Yep.
And I can feel it, and in my body. And when I hit it, I know that I'm okay. It's kind of a weird thing.
I know, I get it. Totally get it.
Yeah, and then when I was doing the Course in Miracles, which is it's a spiritual process, and there's all these lessons that you do. I would do these lessons, and I would feel like I would read it. It's like one sentence, and boom, and I could feel this shift in my body, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" But I knew it felt good, and it felt safe, and so the peace to me, there's this vibrational thing that happens, but it also creates this real feeling of safety. Like it's okay. Whatever
Good
is
word.
whatever is happening. And it's
Yeah.
weird, like as a guy, like, and I did the whole martial arts thing, and I was in the military, and it was always this whole macho, tough guy fighting, ready to defend, ready to attack, ready to be
Yeah.
ready. And my cousin he was a Secret Service agent, and he would be like, hey, if, we in college, I remember he'd be like, hey, if that guy came at you right now, what would you do? We'd be at a restaurant having to, hey, if that guy came at you, this dude, boom, if the guy pulled what, like he was perfect for the Secret Service. Like his mind was always like, hey, if that guy came, what is this situation? Are you going to sit here? What are you going to do? And so anyway, when the course was like, one of the lessons was in my defenselessness, my safety lies. It's like when I let go of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just open, there's a
Trust.
safety. And
Right.
I'd be like, what the fuck is that? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But when I did the lesson, I thought it was just like, poof. And I remember like just this energy dropping in and boom, and I would just be, and the first word that came to my mind, I was in the middle of the shop, body shop running, all this craziness going on, all this intensity. It's a very frenetic sort of environment. And all of a sudden, and I'm like, wow, I felt this stillness inside and this sense of safety and then relaxation. I do think relaxation is a really high spiritual achievement. I always tell people to be truly relaxed is actually
So
a
is
high-
silence.
Huh?
So is silence.
Yeah, because it doesn't, and when you're silent, then the body goes on a certain level. It's like almost like a cell. You can feel it. Like I think people carry so much tension in the body on this really subtle cellular level that they don't even
Yeah.
realize until it's gone, and they go, oh wow, I was tight my whole life.
Yeah, had no
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that
So,
all that happens around peace. I
So-
went on a little rant there.
so for me, it's kind of like two areas. One, it's the overall piece of knowing that as I've gone through this world that I've done good. I don't want to say it that way, but it's like
Sure.
I've made a difference in this world and a positive difference, which I know I have. But that doesn't make me peaceful when things are happening at times. So my real thing is just being able to be calm in the chaos. There may be chaos going on, but can I be calm knowing that that's happening? I can be calm where I am, or I can jump into the chaos, And so my peace is
Yeah.
being able to this is going on. This is a hard time, but I can be calm and work through it and enjoy the journey as I go. Even though it's a hard journey at times, I can enjoy that journey. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where
Well,
I'm at peace.
I love that. Sheldon, you mentioned the word safety, and that really, like emotional and mental and physical safety is really
Yep.
important.
Yep.
And you also alluded to this, but I don't know that you said the word surrendering.
Yep.
I mean, so much of my life has been to surrender to what I'm being called to do, and then really behind that is to just trust, right? To like
has
I don't
some-
have a clue how this is going to work out. I mean, but I'm going to trust that I'm going to find my way through it.
And you have done this
Yeah.
through any particular, like a spiritual practice per se, or just in this process of self-healing and self-awareness, all of this sort of came, and then you started, this intuition, this guidance, this voice came to you, and you had the sense to trust it and then move with it, and that just sort of happened? Or was there a particular path that like?
I think it really is just staying committed to knowing that things are always going to get better and hanging on to hope all the time. I'm a very hope-filled person. I look at the brighter side of things most of the time, and when I don't and it doesn't feel good, I remember to okay, how do I shift my focus? So I would love to say here's the top 3 things that I do.
Yeah,
but my toolbox it's more than it's on wheels. It's a rolling toolbox.
Amen.
It's not, with about 20 drawers. It looks like I was a mechanic because every drawer is a different thing. And
You got a dually
I,
pull in that big old thing.
I do. Yeah, it's not like a little doctor toolkit that's just a stethoscope in it. No, I need to have the whole thing. Yeah, it's a lot of different practices for me, and it often comes back to looking at where am I triggered? Like I find myself going through phases, and I just recently kind of came through another one of these phases where I'm really kind of opinionated and judgmental about people, even people close in my life, and I find myself thinking or saying things to either Tom or my son or whatever, and I'm like, this is not really who I want to be. Like, and so how do I release the judgment? And I'm not better than anybody, but it's kind of that, like, I start feeling like if I'm talking like that or I'm thinking like that and judging people, who am I to have judgment? It's not my experience, not my journey. So then I gotta go and do the work. Like, what is the word that I would place on the guy that just flipped me off driving by? Chaotic or whatever. And then I have to go, where in my life am I ignoring my own chaos and I'm not loving that chaotic part of me? What does the chaotic part of me need? And I'll journal about it, and I'll write a letter to chaotic Karen and like, hey, like, you need some more time for yourself, and you need to, and then I can release, and then I can really be in a place where I love and appreciate and can see the good in everything and everybody. But it's something I have to come back to over and over.
Yeah, and you just said something I think is really key about, you said loving that part of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Loving chaotic Karen, right?
Yeah.
And that
Yep.
love heals, right? That's part of the healing process, right? Is the ability to love that versus judge and attack and condemn that part of yourself, right?
Yep. It's funny, I don't know why this showed up, but it's showed up several times in our conversation. Loving the part of me that is deathly afraid of being abandoned, which I don't. I don't show up that way in life, but when I get quiet, that like 4-year-old girl in me, she does not want to be abandoned.
Yeah.
And so when Tom and I get into it, I would rather be the first one to go, I'm out.
Yeah.
so that he doesn't abandon me. Like it's a very deep psychological wound. And for me, it's fear of never being enough. And people in my life can see that, oh yeah, she's always on to the next thing, and she's always, trying to.
No matter how much I
something.
do, it's not enough. So then you're doing endlessly.
So for people listening, like if you're at a place in your life and you're not feeling satisfied or you're not feeling peaceful, start to look to see like what's the deep-seated thing that you're trying to fix or achieve, and fall in love with that part of yourself. Because when I can take care and love on the part of me that's afraid to be abandoned, and I like, what does my 4-year-old me need?
Yeah.
She might need to just lay in bed and curl up and listen to some music, or
hug,
go for a walk, or look in the mirror. I've done a lot of mirror work and say, I love you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm proud of you. Today might be your best day. I do a lot of the techniques that Hollywood movies will make fun of when they're making fun of kumbaya type of people. It always kind of pisses me off, because
I know. I love kumbaya. Leave me alone.
all those techniques work, and there's plenty of them, and we know these Hollywood stars are using them.
Yes.
But also they're also the first people to make fun of this kind of stuff. But all those techniques are working for me. So I would say get clear about what your deepest wounds are, your deepest fears are, and don't go try to overcome those fears. Try to love that part of yourself, because for me, they continue to repeat themselves, and I just need to bring more love and light into that part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the big things I wrote down.
Yay, we have a takeaway.
Yeah.
He's been writing notes there.
I told him, I'm like, how about AI? Just get your AI note taker.
Yeah.
Remember that was blank at the beginning?
Yes, I love it. Very good.
Oh.
That's great.
So, I think we're close to, is there anything else, Karen, that you want to say, or?
No, I'm just honored. Yeah, just simply that I'm honored that you guys have thought to have me on and to have this conversation. And
see, this is why I wanted to talk to you back then, because this kind of conversation, I'm like, I could go, I love this.
For days,
so, and I don't know, but I was, there was something I was just like, wow. So, it's kind of, because it's funny to me, there's like this, people are on a path, or they're walking this walk or this journey of exploration and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like kindred spirits, you're somebody that, hey, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it's always cool to like, hey, that's cool, or whatever. Because, my brother bought the Anthony Robbins thing in like 88. He was at an infomercial and
about
bought
when
the
it was,
30-day
yeah.
That's
cassette
when it
program.
was.
By the way.
And it sat in his room, and I'm like, "What's that?" And then he was like, and he hadn't opened it. And then me and my ex, her name was Karen, we were living together, my brother, and we did the whole. Karen and I did the whole 30-day program.
Yeah.
Very disciplined, notebook, whole 9 yards. So it was kind of funny back in like '89, I think it was.
Same
Maybe
time
90.
frame. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Kinda funny.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Course in Miracles, is that Marianne Williamson's work?
So, Course in
can't remember.
Miracles is what Marianne Williamson did and wrote, Return to Love, based on her journey with this
Okay.
teaching.
Right.
So it's a channeled teaching. It was this woman, she channeled it in like the 60s and 70s, and she was an atheist, and this voice said, "Hey, this is A Course in Miracles, please take notes." And she thought she was a psychiatrist at Columbia University, and she thought she was going insane, and her colleague was just like, "Well, why don't you take notes? Let's see what it says." And so
Yeah.
she started writing down what this voice would say, and then he would type it in a typewriter, and it's like a huge compendium. It's like 600.
I need to go back to it. I've never gone through, but I asked about Marianne Williamson because Debbie Ford, who was my mentor and guide, were very, very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah.
So Course in Miracles is a funny thing because Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, he was a Course in Miracles teacher. Like he will
I did
say
not know that.
that's what it was. Oprah's done a whole thing with him on,
Yeah.
she's a big Course in Miracles fan, right? Marianne
Yes.
Williamson's Course in Miracles. There's a ton of people. What's her name? Gabrielle Bernstein.
Yeah. I love Gabrielle. Yeah.
She's a Course in Miracles teacher. So
Hey,
that's
I did not know that.
yeah. So all these
Yeah.
people that are big in the field, their whole thing was Course in Miracles, and they
And it's
kinda
not new stuff.
put their
Yeah.
spin on it,
Yes,
And,
exactly.
but that was the base thing that. So the cool thing about it was it had, and I'd been. Anyway, yeah, I'd done a lot of other
Dave's like-
shit in my life, and then this thing had 365 lessons, and it says in the Course in Miracles, you don't have to agree with it, you don't have to like it. In fact, you will actively resist it, but if you do it, it will change you. And I'm like, that's easy. I'd stood barefoot on rocks doing breathing exercises for 6 years every night. And I'm like, I can do 365 lessons, piece of cake. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
And
amazing.
So that was like a real transformative thing for me. It was a deep process. So I ended up leading a Course in Miracles study group for like 8 years. So
Karen, what was the name of your book?
yeah,
You said Shadow.
The dark. Well, she has
Oh,
several.
yeah, Debbie Ford. You got the dark side of the light chasers.
The
Did
Light
you have a book,
Chasers.
though? You said
I've
you had.
never heard that.
I do. I mean, I
Wasn't the-
wrote one. Maddie Moonbeam's Garden. It's just a children's book.
Oh,
Taking
okay,
one-
okay.
Maddie
taking one of the
Moonbeam's
Garden.
Garden.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was like, I thought you'd written a book about the shadow work. So okay.
No,
Yeah,
it's a lot of people through my journey of just again sharing very openly and coaching and guiding people. I've been asked many times, please write a book. There probably is one in me. I can't. I don't want it to be just the casualty of a suicide attempt
Yeah.
book. Like, so until I can look at it from a different perspective, and also I think Sheldon's the one who said it. I don't have all the answers. I've never. And when people hire me as a coach, I'll start off by saying, look, my role is to help guide you to deeply love yourself and create a toolbox of all the things that work for you. So at the end of our time together, you don't look to me and say, you're the reason why I am who I am today. But you can look at yourself and say, I'm it, right?
Yeah.
Now the trouble with that, being very candidly with clients in the beginning, is that I also have to say them, but I also don't want you to forget the work that we've done together.
Yes,
because I want you, when you come across people who are going through something similar, that you refer me. But my job really, because a lot of coaches, they'll kind of try to come up with that next program, that next thing to keep people coming back for more. And I want you to fire me. I want you to look at me at one session after 6 months worth of work together, or however long it is, and go, I I've outgrown you, and that's
Yeah.
a celebration. But a lot of people aren't willing to admit that you have to get to that point. And I think that's a good therapist, counselor, coach,
Yes.
guide, mentor, when you can say, I've sucked everything out of you, and
Yeah.
I'm doing great things as a result of it. And I'm grateful, and also, our
Done.
relationship is now different.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, otherwise that becomes a
Yeah.
guru or somebody, and I don't have any desire to be that. I'm also not built that way, but yeah.
100%.
So we'll put when we post this, we'll definitely put the Debbie Ford
Yeah.
book in there just so
Do.
people can see it.
Please.
Yeah,
Do you have
there's
a
basically
website or
three
a
things.
handle or whatever? Should we put
Yeah,
that
if you
on
have
there?
something for us to post,
Yeah.
like your website, if you have a website of something.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I work
That's
for the. I
ancient.
work for this. Yeah, I work for the state now, and I mean, I
Yeah.
still do some coaching. So it's typically still word of mouth, but maybe I'll circle back around. I've hosted many women's retreats, and I've got a couple ideas for that kind of stuff down the road. But for right now, no, you can reach out on Facebook, Instagram, or through
Okay.
Dave and Sheldon. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, as we always say, if there's anything, if you don't have a wolf pack, we always talk about a wolf pack, people around you. If someone doesn't have it, now you have 3. You've always had these 2, and you always had some others.
Yeah.
I said, but always reach out, because I know if Karen gets you an email from your
Always.
Facebook message, we're all willing to talk. So there's 3 main
Anytime.
things that I got from this. Being the teacher, there's 3 things.
Okay.
One, the book of Debbie Ford, and tell me if there's more, Karen. But obviously the toolbox, we've talked about toolboxes before. Keep building the toolbox, and it's not, oh, I know what it is. Hopefully you know exactly what tool you need, but usually it's open it up and go like, I'm here, what do I need? But know that you have stuff. The other one is finding a word that makes you get back to that. Like, okay, I'm here, what do I need? I'm looking for peace. How do I get back to this peace? Or happiness, how do I get back to this happiness that I want to be at? So that's a big, which includes the tool. So now you got to use that toolbox to get to that peace. Then the
You're
biggest thing that
protecting your peace.
yeah,
Yes.
protecting that
I think
peace.
that's
And then the
kind of
biggest
one
thing
of
that
the
I got out of it is accepting the good and the bad, those not suppressing it, not putting those in, letting them out. And sometimes it's the deep fears that you have to relive, because you don't want to become that. So just kind
Not
of
sometimes, not sometimes, but always.
Yes, but
You
always,
said
yes.
sometimes
Yes.
it's like that. No, always.
No,
It's,
no,
it'll
so-
always, it'll always be that. Yeah.
Very good point. So, yeah, so that's it. Those are
Yeah.
the 3 biggest things, and we
Good.
hope you enjoy the show. If you have friends out there, make sure you share it, okay, people, because you've had a good conversation. We appreciate Karen, and if you hear anything, let us know. If you like it, yeah.
Yeah.
So Karen, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
thank
We
you.
Yeah,
enjoy
thank you
your
so much. It's
information,
a real blessing, and we're super grateful to have you and sharing your time and your story.
My pleasure.
Definitely have to get together when we get back to Arizona, because
For
we love
sure.
talking about this stuff.
Anytime.
Yeah. So
Good.
thank you.
So everybody out there, have a great week. Keep that smile on, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye. Thank you.